The next, I would like to invite His Excellency Professor Naron, Minister of Education, Youth and Sport, Kingdom of Cambodia, to have a welcome speech and open of the opening ceremony of the second virtual Cambodian International Conference on Mentoring Education under the main theme Mentoring on STEM Education, and for official opening of the Education Leadership Research Center, ELRC-HUB, College of Education and Human Development at Texas A&M University at the New Generation Pedagogical Research Center in National Institute of Education, Kingdom of Cambodia. Please, floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chandra, Dr. Irby, distinguished professors from Texas A&M universities, and all the honorable participants, dear teachers, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor and pleasure for me to be with you this morning for the second virtual Cambodia International Conference on Mentoring Educator, which organized by the New Generation Pedagogical Research Center, National Institute of Education, Cambodia, and Texas A&M University. I would like to welcome all the distinguished professors from all over the world, also teachers, researchers, trainers, school administrators, pedagogical advisor and consultant for joining us today, and also for sharing their knowledge as well as their experiences with our community of mentoring educators. The purpose of the conference this year is to examine various mentoring modalities and opportunities designed to help K-12 educators to develop their competencies, especially in the field of science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. It will provide opportunities for participants to share and learn about various ideas, program, research, and also discuss the challenges associated with mentoring educators online. It will also provide a forum for participants to meet and exchange common interests in both formal and informal atmosphere. I hope that the conference will promote and initiate the cooperation among participants in relation with mentoring educators. I would like to take this opportunity to express my great pleasure and warmly welcome the university's participation and partnership and cooperation. Taking this opportunity, I would like to request the Texas A&M University to provide our educators, teachers, especially the NGPRC instructors, with some also training or possibly maybe scholarship and maybe exchange program to strengthen the capacity to gain new knowledge and experience from the U.S. education. To conclude, I would like to once again thank all of you for the cooperation, and stay safe. And I would like to declare the conference open. And I would also like to take this opportunity to share, our perspective for education reform in Cambodia, especially the science technology education. Allow me to share slide. I would like to run through a little bit on the education reform of Cambodia. So we launched almost 10 years ago the first phase of education reform, focusing on national level reforms such as curriculum improvement, the assessment, as well as grade 12 exam. Then in 2018, we moved that reform to the school level in order to strengthen the school management, to create a new generation school as a pilot, Now we are moving to the third phase of reform, is the system building and capacity development. As well as during the COVID crisis, we have been able to introduce digital education in order to develop human resources for economic transformation. So in the past, the education reform policy focused on improving teacher professional standard, also to introduce school principal standard, and we will also introduce career pathway, and also to link the continue professional teacher standard, so that to allow teacher to to continuously improve the qualification. We focus on school management, including the creating 12 new schools. We also improve school management, selecting 100 schools. As of now, all the 100 schools has achieved the school effectiveness standard, and we decided to increase the coverage now to 300 schools, and the impact also of this improving school management beyond the 300 schools, because we have also network school. So we've also planned to improve the quality of education at 50 resource schools in order to upgrade the 50 resource schools, as well as many other schools higher to the level of school effectiveness. Why we have different standard? Just because with scarce resources, we invest heavily on the facilities and teaching and learning and support for NGS school. This is the highest standard school. The second tier is the school-based management that we invest also, but less than that. And the remaining school have to work to achieve better standard. So the reform is meant to respond to the digital area, to economic diversification. We are going to move from input-based management toward result-based management, which focus on student achievement and on the quality of human resources. And our objective is to educate the Cambodian young people to become good citizens, not just national citizens, but also good global citizens. We have achieved the result for that, and also our focus now is on the capacity building in terms of teacher training at the preset level, then the in-service training. We will introduce also annual performance evaluation at the school level to provide incentive and promotion, as well as to introduce teacher career pathway, such as creating junior specialists and senior specialists for the teacher. So in terms of system building and capacity building, so we are moving from the project base because we have implemented a number of projects funded by the World Bank and the Asian Development Bank, and so Global Partnership for Education. So now we are moving from project toward building the system. And we are in the process of preparing the result-based management policy framework. We plan also to introduce the career path at the school level, the capacity building to implement reform. We already nominate education specialists who go and provide support for the school to implement reform, as well as train education specialists for textbook development, curriculum development, teaching method, and assessment. We decided to integrate all the reform programs into the teacher training institution, to the teacher training center. The teacher education reform focus on the review of the curriculum to promote professional standard for teacher, which include content knowledge, pedagogy, especially teaching method, and the third one, technology, because with the current COVID crisis, we have been transform the crisis into opportunity for online learning, for digital education. And we are grateful that many of our teachers, they work hard to embrace technologies and use technology for continued learning for the student. Thirdly, we also improve the facility, including creating standard for library, teaching facility, laboratory, in order to train teachers to be able to teach science and technology as well. Fourthly is the leadership and management education. Fifthly is to link theory to practicum, because according to the research, is that if teacher training focus too much on just theory, it doesn't work. So we want the teacher educators and also the teacher trainee to be able to teach, to focus on increase the number of practicum, so that they are able to teach when they graduate from the teacher education center. Quality assurance is to have both internal quality assurance system and also external accreditation of the teacher education college. What are the challenges of science and technology education in Cambodia? Firstly, I think the problem of the capacity and qualification of a teacher to teach science and technology. So we need to increase the qualification to train them better. We need to have a performance evaluation system linked to continuous professional development, which is to link training to the work that the teacher do, especially to learning outcome of the student. We must improve science teaching method, create such as to introduce scientific method, inquiry-based learning, method for teaching mathematics, physics, and others, and so that the student find it interesting to learn science. We must invest in laboratory and provide sufficient material for laboratory, so that studying science and technology not just from textbook, but also from the real and from experiment in the laboratory, and also from real life. We must link lesson to daily life, increasing teaching hour for science, and maybe to teach some key lesson, some important lesson deeply, not just sufficiently covering all the lesson, but to teach deeply. Therefore, also we have seen that by creating after school club such as robotic club, extracurricular activity, and also a special teaching for underprivileged student and slower learner. We want the youth council to create, those good students must help the slower learner to learn better. However, our laboratory staff don't get, adequate training. This is the challenge that we are facing. And also we don't have a laboratory in all the school. I think this is the challenge of teaching science in Cambodia. Science teachers do not know sometimes to use laboratory equipment. They are not trained. Sometimes we give them the equipment, but they don't know how to use it. The laboratory material are not sufficient. Some schools don't have, have power shortages, and maybe many schools in Cambodia have slow or no internet connection. Computer lab are not sufficient. We have small laboratory, and not all the students can go and do the experiment in laboratory. We usually we don't have all the lab in all the schools, so we have network school, but those network schools are located far from the resource school which have laboratory. So I think those are the challenges of teaching science in Cambodia. That is, we don't have enough investment in laboratory, in teacher training, also in computer lab. I think those are the challenges. I think how we are going to promote science and technology education. I think we have adopted the plan to roll it out. So we already been during the last 10 years, we have implemented a number of projects focused on science technology by providing scholarship to students in the remote provinces, so that to encourage students to learn science. We provide scholarship to the teachers to learn to become science teacher, and those coming from the 7 hardship provinces that located far from capital city Phnom Penh. We also build a teacher house to make life easier for those who work in remote provinces. We continue to build school and also facility to increase the to increase the number of resource schools with the laboratory, and also with computer labs. Provide textbook to all the grade 12 students, so that they have each student have the textbook to study science and mathematics. We in the process of reviewing science mathematics curriculum, reviewing the textbook, and reviewing the curriculum teacher training as well. So we have implemented the program for professional development for teacher trainer to teach to train about 10,000 teachers in science and mathematics, and also in IT. We also provide scholarship to the teacher trainee to study science at National Institute of Education, and also we train the school principal on the science education, as well as increase the funds for school to provide more resources for school to operate laboratories and computer labs. In the second project, our focus is on capacity building for National Institute of Education to train better educator in science education at the National Institute of Education by strengthening the governance structure, human resource and leadership of the NIE, renovation of science classroom and laboratory, construction new library and study resources, and reviewing teacher training program, providing scholarship. But also we continue STEM training and professional development for teacher at 50 resource school and 81 network school on STEM subject, improving ICT and science classes, transform the classroom and provide books and materials, introduce project-based classroom, life skill, activity-based learning, install solar power system to address the power cut, and also train principal, deputy principal, finance officers, and school administrator on the school-based management. in 2022, we prepare for PISA, the program for international student assessment, and also we now in the process of textbook review for science mathematics, creating science teaching method, as well as improve the use of laboratory and computer lab. Career pathway is very important to link, to encourage the teacher to teach better, the school principal to better manage the school, and to link continuous professional development to student learning outcome, promote standard technical education, as well as link secondary education to higher education. This is very important that secondary education, we train the student on some technical skill, and we also link that to the university so that we can have a career advisory council, career forum, so that we can provide students with counseling, career counseling, as well as to have mentors, especially in new technology, in robotic, as well as computer coding. So we link university professor to train secondary schools students on science technology, and especially on the robotics. Creating study club, so the student can choose which club they want to be part of, such as coding, robotic, writing club, to meet the needs of our industries. We also must prepare our teacher better to respond to the digital transformation, especially by using technology. In terms of improving school management, we focus on leadership and management. We've especially we have to look at how to better select science teachers, and also teachers who are in charge of different subjects such as physics, chemistry, earth science, biology, provide resources and also equipment so that they can teach better and more effectively. For the new generation school, we will increase the number of new generation school to become the example of education reform, of science education, and also with that link the career pathway and professional development to the student learning outcome, and create the new generation school as the center of excellence. We plan to increase the number of NGS. We have worked in collaboration with a local NGO in order to provide technical support for that. The NGS is the first tier of school in Cambodia, which provide both excellent education in terms of science technology, but also in other subjects as well. The second tier is we select 100 schools to improve the quality, because the 100 schools are located in all 25 provinces, while NGS focus mainly in the city. The school-based management can be anywhere where there are commitment of the school principal, commitment of the community, commitment of the teacher to make improvement. And we have seen that with the support of the parents and the local community, as you know, as the example of charter school in the United States, we are able to change the school culture, make the school a place where the students are happy to study and community are supporting, and what we call the showroom to accountability. School principal and teacher are accountable to parent and to the local community. There is a check and balance at the school level. And we have seen that during the last 5 years, it worked. We have been able to transform the school culture, to transform those one school into the effective school. For that reason, we decided to, to increase the number of what we call school-based management school. So during COVID-19, we have decided we have closed school, but we introduced digital education. Digital education, we created learning management system. NGS school and some other school are able to create a learning management system is to provide e-learning using virtual app, virtual classroom and webinar, as well as learning resources. Some of the school use technology for school management, and also the parent can have access to to how the teacher teach, and also to the grade. So they have different apps that are used to inform parents, but also for the school management. The ministry also produced many video for students from early grade, from preschool to grade 12, and those digital contents video focus on the lesson. So right now we have all the digital content for the main subject, especially science subject from grade 1 to 12. We also encourage students where possible, but the problem is that only around 40% of the students can have access to technology, so they can use personal learning management. For those who do not have access to technology, they can use paper-based distance learning. So we have small group learning for those who have no access to technology, and also paper-based learning. So they can come and meet the teacher on a regular basis, and the teacher provide them with paper, with question, with summary of lesson, and the student come back to have a meeting face-to-face with the teacher and mark the paper on a regular basis. Even after COVID, as now we reopen the school, we continue to use flipped classroom because we reduce the size of the number of students in the class by half, and then the digital contents can be used for the teacher to teach, and the student can study that digital content at home, and help them to study as well. Because we use the best teachers, to develop digital content, and as we also face shortages of in rural area, the digital content can help address of teacher shortages in rural area. So we continue to use flipped classroom where possible. Also, we're in the process of improving digital platform. We create a Center for Digital Education to provide support for school, as well as encourage school to create digital classroom. And we also copy all the digital content in flash drive and bring it to the school level. Capacity building is very important. We're in the process also of training school principals, school director, and special teacher on online education, especially online and digital education has been introduced in the teacher training center. I think for that, we must create new teaching method, implement new teaching method, so that to have blended learning and science and technology teaching method embedded in the school level. For the NGS, for the New Zealand school, they already do that. So we are now adopted the teaching method that we pilot at the New Zealand school to enroll it out to school all over the country. So I just would like to thank you, for that. And what is the role of the mentor? The mentor is to help school to improve the school culture, also to support the teaching and learning for science and technology. At the primary school level, our reform focus on new teaching method for early grade reading. For your information, we also work closely with USAID to provide training for school teachers at primary school level, especially grade 1 to 3, so that the student learn to read and write well while they are at grade 1 to 3. And I think by improving literacy, the student will be able to learn and to not to drop out later on. Secondly, mentoring for math teacher. We have early grade mathematics. And that mentoring of math teacher at grade 1 to 3 is very important. So the science education and math, STEM education cannot be introduced just at the secondary level, but from the primary level by focusing on mentoring for early grade mathematics. So we develop a special textbook to make mathematics more easier to learn for students at grade 1 to 3. So to build the foundation for STEM education at the secondary level. So secondary, the secondary reform focusing on new teaching method, especially to transform school culture, to make school principal accountable to parents, accountable to school community, especially in terms of learning outcome. And the school should provide support for a slow learner to learn effectively. Those are the our kind of action for capacity building and system building during the third phase of education reform in Cambodia, which is starting right now. I just would like once again to thank all of you for support. If you did that presentation, I think you can take from Professor Chandra. I gave him this presentation. It is a policy framework from our Ministry for Science Education. Right now, we are in the process also to develop a new program which we call Step Up Education of Science Technology at the secondary level. I would like to thank you for your attention. I just also would like to wish all of you good health and stay safe, even though we are now opening up, but we remain vigilant, we remain, so that we can provide both protection to our teacher and student, but also continue education. Thank you for your attention. And I would like also to say goodbye because I have another meeting in 30 minutes. I have another meeting. So my second meeting focused on economic opening for Cambodia, strategy for opening the country. So what will be for agriculture, industry, education, especially I just would like to share with you that the new environment for businesses, is that because, COVID still continue in many parts of the world. I think that and also countries are opening up, but it is a gradual opening. You can see that there's a lot of restriction of travel. For that reason, many countries require higher skill, especially digital skill. So the new business model after COVID would be more skill, more digital skill. Therefore, education must respond, meaning that we must train our students better in terms of the use of digital technology, digital skill, especially digital education, because the new, because country, I think like tourism, it will take a while. I think travel now only for those who are very important, that they travel. But for that reason, businesses will use a lot of technology. That means that in terms of education, we must give the student more training on how to use the digital tool technology. So we must train our teacher better how to teach technology, how to teach using digital tool. I think this is my second meeting later on. So thank you. I would to once again thank Texas A&M University for collaboration. I would like to thank the international team for the support. I'm very happy that we are we benefit for that support. Thank you again. Please stay safe and goodbye. Thank all of you for your attention. Thank you.